got to teach our younger generations that, tech sounds cool. It is cool, but you can do anything in the tech space.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what these organizations exist. And that's what makes me so excited about getting up every day to do this type of work, is because we're teaching, we're showing them, hey, you can come with a whole sleeve tattoo. You can have dreads in your head. You can have goals in your mouth. You can be yourself and also be the smartest person in the damn room.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to the Bold Black Girls Podcast. I'm Aries.
And I am Kim.
All right, and today we are kicking it off with a wonderful guest that we,
Have the pleasure.
We just, you meet people. Y'all know how we do. We out here in these streets. So today we have the CEO and founder of Black Men in Tech, Mr. Kham Ward. Welcome to the Bold Black Girls Podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to get into this conversation with y'all.
Yes. So Kim and I don't think we didn't get a chance to talk about it on the podcast that we went to.
Not yet, but we'll have one about that. What we've been
We're going to do a separate one.
Yes. And so we were in Mexico for my 40th birthday. Latoya Ward invited us out to her tech unicorn. She was having a masterclass for women who are interested in pivoting into tech. Mm-hmm. And boom, bam. Tell them the story.
We heard a black man's voice.
We were sitting in the lobby checking in, and I was like, in Mexico, I hear a black man speaking with some passion.
And it was a black, you could tell it was a big black man over there. I said, that sounds like a strong black man voice. Yes, he on there talking, and we didn't know, we couldn't hear what he was saying. But I was like, okay. So then he came around the corner and he had a Black Men in Tech shirt on. So we're like, oh, and then we were there for the same event. We hit it off with him, his family, everybody. It was just a good time. And so
a wonderful time.
Now we got some stuff coming down the, pipeline. And so I want you just to share a little bit about who you are and your background, and then we'll get into Black Men in Tech.
Perfect. Hey, y'all, I want to first thank y'all for letting me join your podcast, man. I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing. The more voices we get in the tech space, the more representation we have, the more people we will have. People that look like you and I can actually do what we do and have fun doing it. And I love what y'all doing. So I'm trying to give y'all flowers right now before we even get into it. So a little bit about me. I'm Kham Ward. I work in tech. I'm a diversity officer by day. I've been doing diversity work for well over 13, 14 years now. Started out in higher education, moved over to the tech space about 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm absolutely having a blast. Home base in South Florida. I work at Recharge. That's a startup tech company, e-commerce platform. But my transformational position is the position that get me up. That one job that they tell you, what's that one thing you want to do in life? If you never got paid for it, you'll do it forever. And that's Black Men in Tech. This is something, a passion project of mine that started almost 2 years ago now. November will be 2 years, and we're making major movement in the community and in the world. And I'm excited to talk to y'all about it.
We're excited to have you on here, Kham. I love to see Black people in tech, but really, I love to see Black men leading the charge with this in tech. And we're so happy. We want to give you your flowers as well. So we're going to get into more what you're really doing. So tell us, what is Black Men in Tech? Because it sounds like 2 years ago, I remember we were in the pandemic and something happened 2 years ago. So tell us why, or what is Black Men in Tech, and then kind of delve into why you started it.
Yeah, so our origin story is simple. First of all, let me back up. What is Black Men in Tech? Black Men in Tech is a nonprofit organization that's geared towards elevating the voice of Black men in the tech space. When I talk about elevating the voice, it has nothing to do with taking away from anyone's voice. Everyone has a lane in the tech space. I just wanted to amplify our voice, because what I realized is that in the tech game, in the tech space, and I'm working at large corporations, I rarely see myself. right? I rarely see people that look like me in these executive board meetings, in these boardrooms. And I wanted to be able to have an outlet. You know how it is when you see another Black person in the room. You're like, I don't have to tell the whole culture story today. You kind of relax a little bit, and we were missing that. So we're that nonprofit that's here for a couple of things. We want to connect people by having these curious and connected conversations in these meetups. We do a quarterly meetup. We also want to convene people through our conference that we'll probably talk about in a little bit. And we also want to care for our community. A large part of what we do is our care for human people, like care for people at its core in underserved neighborhoods. Like we adopted 2 schools in the South Florida area. We built the tech lab at the only HBCU in South Florida at Florida Memorial University. So it's about making sure we have access to education to our community so they too can thrive in a diverse and connected world.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so first of all, I love it because just like how when we started Bold Black Girls podcast, right? We were like, we wanted to share what we were experiencing as Black women in the space, right? And what we're going through. And really, we used to feel isolated and thinking that we were the only ones dealing with things. And then finding out there's way more people dealing with it. It's more than that. So it's like, okay, as we personally develop or professionally develop, whatever it is, we want to give that back to the community so that they're like, okay, girl, y'all ain't got to go through what we went through. You need to do it a different way. Right. Let's give you the plug, and hook you up. And it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't to take away from anybody else's voice, but we felt like there wasn't anyone that was, it wasn't a lot of people speaking directly to us. It was like women of color and da-da-da-da. And you're like, okay, well, what about, like our stuff is kind of unique, And so I kind of want to talk to you about like, why you think there's such a low percentage of like Black people, period, in tech, and if we just start isolating, then we go down the lower percentages. But like, why do you really think that there's not enough of us in tech?
The answer is simple: just accessing education, right? Here's the deal: when Black people get involved with things, we dominate everything we do, right? Think about it: when we play sports. Football, basketball, track, right? Black people dominate these things. Golf, listen, all the sports, right? But the thing is that you don't see many Black people playing lacrosse. You don't see many Black people playing access. Why? Because you have to have money to do that. Absolutely. Where I come from, you play the sports that you paid $120 to play, and you played for the year, and that kept you out of trouble. So it's a couple things: access, right? Access and education and opportunity. Those are the things that keep our students out of the tech game. And now we playing catch up, like everything in life. You can't expect somebody to spend so many years in slavery, so many years in bondage, where we could not read, and expecting 60 years, 70 years, we're going to catch up. So we're playing catch up. Right. We're playing catch up right now. And that's why Black Men in Tech exists. That's why other organizations, nonprofits that's geared towards getting the younger generation into the tech space exists, because we realize the same way we teach them how to play a ball, run a track, do a backflip at 5, we need to teach them how to code, or we need to teach them what diversity look like, sales. We need to teach them a bunch of different things that they can utilize in the tech space. Because one myth I wanted to demystify right now is that everybody in tech isn't an engineer.
Thank you.
Exactly. That is so right.
Right. So therefore, we got to teach our younger generations that, tech sounds cool. It is cool, but you can do anything in the tech space.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what these organizations exist. And that's what makes me so excited about getting up every day to do this type of work, is because we're showing them, hey, you can come with a whole sleeve tattoo. You can have dreads in your hair. You can have goals in your mouth. You can be yourself and also be the smartest person in the damn room.
Yes. And you know what? And you're on it, because, and I'm going to connect you with somebody who's here, that I brought my boys to this event a couple months ago, like in July. We here have this a Black-owned esports gaming facility in Duncanville. And if you're not connected with Danny, I need to get you connected with him, because he had a full day and it was just all Black boys in there. I think there was like 2 Hispanic boys in there, but it was just all Black boys. And he took them through the full how esports and gaming works. And either you could be the talent or you can be the manager. You can be the person who puts on production. He showed them how to do the production behind the scenes. Let the boys, like my 2 boys, were commentating on the mic when other people were doing the tournaments, and they got to go. Everybody got to go to different stations and learn there are so many jobs here, graphic design, like
Yes.
it's like so many pieces. And kids usually, especially if we're talking about from the young age, they're in tech. They're born in tech. They're on Roblox all day. They're coding. They're doing stuff they don't even realize that they're doing. And so the education piece that you're talking about, just letting them know, hey, you're already in tech. You just need to learn how to, pivot this into an actual career. Yeah.
And parlay into a real role.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where we are right now, right? We're in a stage where we're in a good ground. We have good grounds where we can actually teach them that. Like I told a group of middle schoolers a couple weeks ago, I was like, hey, who are here to play video games? Everybody raised their hand. I was like, game testers make $120,000. I backed up and I was like, wait a minute. How much money do you think is a lot of money? Right. And they're like, well, 50,000, 70. I was like, wow. So I really blowed their mind with just this simple concept of you could be a game tester and work for EA and make tons of money. And to me, that's important because they didn't know that. Right. That's important to spend that time mentoring and them seeing people like you, because that's the only, like, we can do this all day where we go and snatch the best talent from another company and send them to another company. All we're doing is moving people around. Right, we're never going to solve a pipeline problem if people believe there's one, which is not, or finding diverse, qualified talent, which isn't a thing because everybody in the space is qualified. But if we start to invest in that next generation of youth, that's going to help us go to that next level that we're talking about right now.
I love that, Kim. So I had a similar experience. I volunteered for this organization here in Dallas for boys, and they were talking about tech, and I used the exact same example. I said, how many of you all play video games? Of course, everyone raised their hand. I was like, do you know you could get paid to test that? They're like, what? I can get paid to test. Yes, education. Like while you're sitting on your stinky butts playing, you can test to get paid. And I also think you made a good point. You made it relatable.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we don't know things. I literally had a conversation in the parking lot with someone, and we were talking about, she was like, I'm just not getting the concept of what Salesforce is. I was like, you need to relate it to something that is relatable to you. I said, think about it in the aspect of you're in a sorority. How would you use this database to make things better for your sorority? And she was like, oh, so we need to make it relatable.
Yes, exactly. Because they don't know. I mean, the thing about it is this is a generation that they can be the first generation to do the work they actually enjoy from the beginning. Like I tell my kids, you can actually graduate and already be doing what you want to do and making money before you even finish graduating high school and never have to work for a company and deal with the bull crap. You know, you could be doing all kind of stuff and actually having fun. They're giving scholarships away at the colleges for esports.
Yep.
Like regular sports.
Or you can go, you don't even have to go to college. Right. And you can the money you want to make right through a boot camp and really get like an accelerated program or apprenticeship and really just vibe to the next level. Right. And that's the things that we need to tell people, not even just our youth, but individuals that's trying to transition into tech. The hardest part for people to transition into tech is being able to be vulnerable and transparent about where you are. And, in the Black community, sometimes that's a really tough wall. Your mom and your dad tell everybody what's going on in our house.
That's true.
But in order to really receive the help you need and take your career to the next level, you got to be honest about where you are, your skill sets, your valleys and your peaks and your pits, and really get the help you need, because I'm not going to say everyone is out there to see everybody win, but that's enough of us that's out there that has no selfish reason about it and want to see all us win in that community.
Now you spoke about the boot camp, so I want to talk about the Anthony O'Neill clip that he talked about how he kind of put a quick thing out there. I think he has a short episode on there about getting into tech and like making all this money, and so I want to kind of talk about some of those maybe myths, I guess, because sometimes people oversimplify tech as well, right? Like get into tech and you're gonna be making $300,000 and you're going to be Black girl luxury. All the ladies, they be like, what do y'all do for a living on TikTok? And they're like, I'm in tech, and making it seem like everybody who's in tech is just making all this money. And you could be making a lot of good money. Not saying that you can't, but some of it takes a little bit longer. You may come in as an apprentice. You may come in entry level. You may have to, you got to be ready to like you said, know where you're at. What's your baseline? Where are you? What are those gaps that you need? And then there's a process to getting into tech. It's not like you just gonna get in. So you can go to that boot camp. You got to learn how to interview the way tech likes you to interview. Like there's a whole thing. So getting in a community is so powerful because that's where we tell each other all the tips and tricks, to how to do the things. So what do you think about some of the
TikTok trends?
Myths? Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I appreciate it because it's free marketing for Black people. Go find out where the things are and maximize the opportunity, right? I appreciate that. And I would tell you, getting into tech sometimes is the hardest situation because people treat it like a brand new Lamborghini, right? Like, oh, it's sexy, it's nice, you get paid a lot of money. Yes, all the things are true. But just like the Lamborghini, nobody tell you got to pay the car payment.
I know that's
right. So nobody tell you that, how hard it was to get there. And, meaning you may come in as a program manager. You may be, you may be at a lower tier. You might not be making $100,000 out the gate, but the opportunity is there for you. I tell people all the time, find what you love to do and find a way to get it into tech space. And because there's an opportunity there that you can maximize the dollar. I tell people all the time when they're negotiating salaries or whatever, your base salary is what you really care about, right? The other stuff are just like, in my opinion, is this Kham talking. And the other stuff is just like, just like a dream. Because think about it, most people don't stay in their career 4 years for that stock to invest. Nobody's, so get your base and move and make sure that base make sense for you. Another thing I would tell you as well is that nobody tell you how to keep your job.
I know that's right. Because then performance reviews
and upskill to keep your job because you have to continuously learn.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you how to keep your job, and that's where we fall off, right? That's where, because every company wants to recruit Black people. I want to get more Black people, whatever, help, whatever they need to do for the interview process to get more Black people, right? Because last that I read, it was like 3.4% of Black people are in the tech space, something terrible, right? Even lower, it was like 2.3% of them are Black men, so even worse. And then if we talk about Black women, probably even worse than that. So, so everybody want to get you into tech, so they're going to come grab you. But then you get there in 3 months, your manager don't know how to manage you because they never had a Black person to manage, right? They don't know someone that look like you when you walk into your space. And now you have to navigate that or the pressures of being the only one. That's called emotional tax. Emotional tax is when you have to be on guard about your race and gender. 60% of individuals that work in the tech space that are Black deals with emotional tax. So think about every day you hop on that Zoom meeting, right? You're literally, somebody gonna ask you, oh, I like your hair, and your hair is different, or oh, don't want to get caught on the camera with Kham, as a big Black man, like these microaggression things, and it's like dying by 1,000 paper cups. No one teaches you that, right? So now you're on the pip because it's not that I'm not performing, where it's that I'm not performing like the rest of their team,
and mentally I'm not well
because able to do that because of the emotional tax.
Thank you. So now you're in a whole situation where they made it look real sexy in the beginning. Oh man, you can make $300,000. You can do this. It's like, yeah, you making it, but your mental health isn't going well. You don't know how to connect with other people. That's why these communities are important as well, because now you can look to your brother, your sister, your community and say, hey, am I the only one going through this?
Yes.
And they can rally around you and be like, nah, man, this is how I dealt with it. This is what I did.
Exactly.
And nobody is excluded from that. No, I was just saying that nobody is excluded from that. Everybody needs someone to lean on. Another point in the Black community, we don't think we need anybody.
What happened to the community? We were doing that at one point, and I feel like we need to get back into community resourcing in every way possible.
You know what I think? Here's my thought process, and it may be completely wrong, but this is Kham speaking on my thought process. The thought process is simple. When people arrive to a certain tax bracket, they feel as though they've made it. And when they've made it, they, want to continue to climb and not go back and grab people to help them along the journey, or they feel as though they've made it and they made it on their own. So I'm going to continue because I like being the only one. Two things that doesn't work.
I agree.
I don't like that.
I literally had a conversation about about this on Friday. A young lady reached out to me. She was like, "Thank you for talking to me." And I was like, "Why wouldn't I pay it forward?" Right? As I lift, as I climb, I need to. Was it lift as you climb?
Yeah,
lift as you climb. It's like it's enough room for us, everyone. It's only 3% of us.
The more the merrier to me. Like I'm the type that I'm leaving the door open until they tell me I gotta close. Until they try to force me. Hold on, get in, Kim. Hurry, get in. I'm like holding that thing open because I'm like I've been the only one that's for so long. I'm currently still the only one in my space, and I have my own. Like I'm in sales, and so I got Sisters in Sales is a network that I'm plugged into so much because it's just a bunch of Black women doing the same stuff I'm doing and helping me navigate that space so that when I do go and I'm isolated, I'm not as isolated as I would be because I'm like, oh, I can always keep tapping into your community. My people, for different things. So we need to have that. What do you feel like some of the things that because there'll be people who are going to be like, well, why do I need to get into tech? I'm a mechanic. I'm doing some other job that is more comfortable, more now, they have more knowledge, but like, what are some of the things you feel like could be resolved by people getting into tech? Like, what are some of the things in our community that could be helped by tech in particular?
So we all know that tech is going to drive the entire world, if not already, in a way that makes sense and make it easy and make just life easy, period, right? If we don't have representation in tech, we're going to be left behind and we're going to be forgotten about. Think about when we go to the soap dispenser in public bathroom, and sometimes it doesn't work when you put your hand under it, right? They found out that it didn't work because engineers didn't understand that people were not all white. So they didn't recognize when your hand was a different hue, or your skin was a different hue than what was considered white. And the thought process is that if we don't have Black engineers in there, if we don't have Black product managers in there, if we don't have Black sales people say, what about me? No one else is going to think about you. So you have to be in the tech space, right? You have to be in the tech space because we're going to literally be forgotten about. I talk to people all the time and they say, you know what, Kim, I never thought about that. And I'm like, I think about it all the time. Because
that's the diversity of thoughts.
Right. So you can't expect people to think about us. They didn't think about us their whole entire time that we were enslaved as people. They considered us property. We didn't get our rights to the 60s. Like we're so far behind and we're still catching up. We're making huge progress. The thought process is that if you allow yourself to consider a tech experience, you're bringing what is needed in order to make sure we're not forgotten about as people.
And the norm is not Black. Right? I mean, we buy stuff and we want to get nude shoes or nude bra. It ain't our color, right? Like everything, Band-Aids. I got a box of Band-Aids down here right now. Some brown Band-Aids for my kids because I'm like, it's things that they're not gonna the standard that wouldn't cross their mind. It's us doing something different when we get our adjustment, right? But when we're talking about tech and the metaverse and all these new places that we're going to be experiencing, we need to make sure that we're going to get the same experience or we're going to be left out in the same way we are in the regular analog world, right? Like, so I'm with you on all of that.
So, Kim, I have a question. So, if you had a magic wand, what would you do to resolve these issues? Because we know that this is such a passion for you. It wakes you up in the morning. You had this wand, like you're a genie.
You were like, today, Kim,
I'm gonna rub
you got a genie in the bottle.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
What is the first thing if you could be like, okay, now you've been dealing with Black men in tech, you've been doing all the events and all this stuff. If you can have it the way, I'm gonna give you a blank check. What you gonna do with it?
Oh, okay. Here's what I'll do with it. I honestly would put all right, so I honestly would put a tech lab in every Black community in the entire world. And here's why I'm gonna do that. Because one of the missions of Black men in tech is to eliminate tech deserts. And tech deserts are places in neighborhoods where there's no computers or Wi-Fi. Either or, nothing matches, right? I found out during the pandemic, and I experienced this during the pandemic, working with students, college students, high school students, the thing that was happening in neighborhoods that I'm used to growing up in is that we didn't have two things that match. You had Wi-Fi, but you didn't have a laptop. So you're trying to do your homework off your cell phone because you can afford that, right? Or you did the opposite. You had some type of tablet device to do your work, but you didn't have Wi-Fi, so you had to go to the library, try to go to McDonald's and da da da, and then you get in trouble for loitering and all this stuff because you can't buy nothing, da da da. And the broken home story isn't every Black story. Let me be clear about it, but that's the stories I focus on that drives me because it was my story, right?
Right.
So me, I will put a tech lab in every Black and brown neighborhood in the entire world because I know if I give you access to this stuff, that you will be able to learn on par. You will be able to get jobs. You will be able to learn how to interview, and hopefully, it will drive you out of poverty. Hopefully, it'll keep you from making that 30,000 to doubling, tripling your salary in a couple of years. Like some of my friends that really moved into space. But you have to respect the grind as well. So you don't go in there like you're trying to save people. You go in there because you're like, look, I was this person. I made it out. And so can you, much like our athletes do,
Yep.
much like our, much like our rappers do, much like our entertainers do, much like our artists do. Anybody that go back to your neighborhood, they're like, hey, look at me. I didn't get it all right. I had some bumps, but I'm coming back to make sure that you have an easier path.
Because our bumps are for them. That's the whole point, right? We shouldn't be going through all those bumps and then not telling nobody it's bumps.
You do the same thing.
You gonna fall on the same pothole I fell on? No, I need to tell you. Don't go there. Go to the left, and then do that because that is what we need. I grew up the same way. I mean, it's like we didn't have any of that kind of stuff. I had to go catch the bus to all these different places to get access to things, and so I definitely feel like that's one of the biggest pieces because, like you said, once we have exposure. Like that's we are gonna, and these other kids are getting the upper hand. For instance, right now, I'm not in the hood no more. My kid, my oldest son has started in 7th grade. His school only he probably has about 1,500, 1,600 kids at that school. And he doesn't have a class that has more than 10 kids in it. And I signed him up for his classes. So I made sure that he had some computer, tech, graphics, whatever, different classes, 3D, imaging, all this stuff. And he would have never signed up for it. He'd be like, what? Well, you're in there now and you're going to be exposed because I want you to see all the things, but everybody doesn't get that type of, that's not in every school.
That is not in it. So we're in the same school district.
Right.
Same school district. If we would have gone 30 miles over, I guarantee you they probably don't have that.
They don't have
My daughter had internet on the school bus. I was like, you have internet on the school bus?
Right.
That's wild. You had a school bus?
Right.
Y'all don't have a school bus?
I caught the city bus when I was in
Chicago didn't either. And it goes back to education access, resources, tax dollars. Yes. Same district schooling, like the exposure. These kids are graduating with associate degree.
And you have to get.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, like the coding programs and all that here, you're not spending nothing less than $300 for one kid. If you have two, that's $600, for them to go to a 1-week coding thing. Any kind of, the money is going to really make a big difference in what you have access to as well. So.
Right. And that's the thing. And what we're talking about, and I like to recognize and demystify this thing as well about privilege, right? What we're talking about is privilege. Mm-hmm. And so I just would want to say really quickly, like, white privilege isn't the only privilege.
Exactly.
It has to do with money, and it has to do with the power to be able to do things. And I think that's one of the reasons why I push for people to get into tech, because money is a game changer. I start to see the world different when you ain't got to worry about paying the bills. You put hey, listen, I know I arrive when I put them things on auto.
Hey,
listen,
and I only look. I still don't put the mortgage on there. Look, I still don't put the mortgage on there. I'll
wait till the 15th.
We're gonna wait on that just in case.
Yeah, but I'm just saying money is the game changer, and tech has a lot of it. Like the thought process is that people build things that do something amazing every day. So when you talk about wealth and getting into it, like why wouldn't you want to be a part of a company that IPO? Why wouldn't you want to be a part of a company that gives you, X amount of base salary, 10x your salary, and you do something that you're really good at and probably love? I
And the
don't
signing
understand.
bonus and stocks,
RSUs, yeah.
yeah.
Retainer bonus every time you get there another year, you get a bonus for like why not? Like, just find what you love to do and find it in tech. That's my mission for everybody.
And every company is becoming a tech company at this point because they got to have some kind of tech in there. I mean, I got a lot of our partners. So I'm the president of a nonprofit for women in tech, and a lot of our corporate partners are companies like Capital One, like mortgage companies, at home retail stores. They have their CIOs are a part of our board. These are people that are like looking to hire software engineers. They're looking to hire program managers, project managers, sales, all that kind of stuff. So it's somewhere for you, even if it's a company that may not just be a tech company. It's not all Facebook, Meta, Amazon and all that.
Exactly. So let's talk about your mission and how you are working to the things that you're doing towards implementing or rather amplifying your mission, which is the Black Men Thrive conference, right? That is coming up next month. Tell us about it because we've been invited and we're so excited. We're super excited.
Yeah, so Thrive is a conference that is for all people. So when I started this organization back in November of 2020, it was 5 guys, 3 women on a call, and I literally was like, "Am I the only one dealing with this at this level?" And they said, "Kham, no, it's not just you, it's all of us." And I was like, "Perfect." So we talked it through, and that one conversation, that on that Zoom, like 8 weeks later, it was over 300 people on the call. Wow. So I was like, "Oh, we got to do something with this, right? We got to keep it going." But the conversation shift. We started talking about, finances, how to get into tech, that sort of thing, whatever. So in January of 2021, I made it a nonprofit, right? So when I made it a nonprofit, I was like, I'm going to do a conference, and we're going to have a conference Juneteenth. 6 months later, I had no clue what I was doing, but I wanted to show the I had to show the world that there's no monolithic experience to any Black experience. So I reached out to Tristan Walker, I reached out to Cortez Bryant, I reached out to 2 Chainz, and they all said, sure, we could do a 15-20 minute talk. We did that. We had 8,500 people from 27 countries join.
Wow.
So after that, I'm like, we got to keep this going. Like, why not? So this year it's in person. It's called Thrive, October 13th through the 16th in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the Western Resort Hotel, 30 steps from the ocean in October in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We have 66 speakers, total speakers. And what I love about it is that we reached out to people and said, hey, we got this thing going on. Here's what we're doing, right? Would you want to be a part? And everyone that we asked said, sure, why not? Right. And that's what you want to build. You want to build something that people said, sure, why not? So we got speakers like Janine Uzel, CEO of Nesby, who you all will be having a conversation with. Yay. We got our Camus Witherspoon. Yeah, Camus Witherspoon's the CEO of SHIP. He'll be there. Ninth Wonder is coming. Jeff Johnson is coming. Lee Merritt is coming.
That's our homeboy, right? You know that Lee is our homeboy. Yeah.
We had him on the podcast.
Well, what's funny is he hit me up and was like, hey, I said, we're going to be speaking at the same thing. And I'm like, what? Because I didn't know what he was talking about. And then he was like, Black Men Tech Conference. And I was like, what? I mean, why wouldn't he be? But yes. So I'm like, okay, cool. Right. I'm glad y'all got him.
Because we need to understand the whole perspective of being Black. So mental health, CEO seat, executive seat, but also the practitioners, the individual contributors, the engineers, the product. Yes. A lot of people don't even know what product management is.
They don't.
Right. So we're going
for the locust.
Right, exactly. So we're going to introduce people to things that are new, but we're going to talk about holistically what it is to be a Black person. That's what I love about the conference. That's why it's not just men, it's women, it's everyone. We're going to talk about the intersectionalities of Black people, including the LGBTQ experience, which a lot of people shy away from. But we're going to talk about it because it's part of our life and part of our everyday. If we talk about we are whole people with layers, we need to unpack these layers in which we are, right? So we're going to give a lot of games. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be action packed and it's going to be a good time. And I invite everyone to come out. Like no one should stay at home, because this is a true opportunity to interact with 66 amazing people that's going to share really great content and really feel organically connected. At our last experience, we was in Mexico and then we went to Atlanta. We are actually getting people hired. Right now, we have over 100 people hired and over 4,000 people in our community. So we're actually people hired, and it's because they are meeting organically, right? Having casual conversations, and then they're connecting and finding out at the core our values align and our values. So why not come work with me?
I love
right? It would take an interview process.
That's how you got the networking. We talk about that all the time about how you have to build connections, and it ain't just about going and doing this thing and I do a great job. People should just know. No, you got to go meet people outside and inside of your organization that you're at. And to the sisters, we got a big, our audience is a lot of.
Let me just say
it's a Black Men in Tech conference. I'm gonna need y'all to go on and pull up
because
Florida, okay.
Black women will throw a conference together, right? We have so many conferences. I love the fact that this is being led by a Black man.
Yes.
I'm all for it and I am there.
And I will be there.
Yeah. And to your community, let me know because I'll definitely throw y'all a discount code because we need as many of us there in a way that is supportive of one another. Like you said, I was in Mexico. It wasn't even my event, but because my sister was throwing it toward y'all, I'm like, yo, I'm about to pull up. And then I said, whatever you need me to do, let me know because they need to see us stand together, like the we thing. And that's what I'm really trying to push in this new guy. I'm not trying to take away from no other experience. I love every experience. I support every experience. This is just for us. Us meaning just the segment that want to get down where the thrive, want to get down with bettering yourself in the community and trying to really get higher. So yes. Yeah, I think everyone, biased as I may sound, I think everyone should come because it's going to be an awesome time.
Well, see, you know what? With us, it shouldn't even be none of that and I think it does happen because of just kind of the where we're at right now, culture wise. As long as we keep talking about how we're supporting each other and doing this together, I think we can change that narrative because it is a negative narrative out there. Really it's like, oh, it's y'all. Well, we this way. We all know. Okay, look, everybody women have certain things that we need to talk about amongst ourselves and about ourselves. And when we need to correct ourselves and, and really get ourselves together. And men have the same thing. I don't think there's any issue with having that. But then also us coming together and supporting each other. Like that's the biggest piece. We can't keep isolating, ourselves from each other. We got to figure out how can we help? How can we come support y'all when you're doing something and vice versa?
We're better together at the end of the day.
For sure.
That is something that I'm really trying to push. Like we as people need to be more unified in the sense of just honestly, just not transactional support, just supporting because you really want to be out and help others, succeed and do better. And then at the same time, you can get a job and you can just, you can get your bag even bigger, which is great.
Right. Exactly. You know how like at the church, okay, you got a job. Okay, well, man, you can pay your tithes. Now you got a job. Okay, now get back to the community. Once you get your job in tech, don't just get a job and run.
Exactly.
Come back, and get back.
Pay it forward.
To the organizations that are helping you.
So, Kham, we want everyone to get a ticket. Number one is not just for Black men in tech; it's for Black people. We want to thrive. Outside of getting that ticket to the conference, because you're going to get an amazing dynamic content, you're going to make connections that will help you secure that bag. How else can we support Black men in tech?
And anybody that's listening, there might be some potential corporate partners that are watching this episode. What are some ways that you need support for the organization?
Yes. So what we're doing now, I just mentioned it earlier that we've created a tech lab, innovation lab at Florida Memorial University on the only HBCU in the South Florida area. The reason myself and my partner on this project, Ted Lucas, who's the CEO of Slip and Slide and the and has a nonprofit called Tech Knowledge. The reason we partnered together because we saw a need. A lot of tech companies are coming to South Florida, but we want to make sure our community, Broward, Dade County, Palm Beach County, know that tech is an option. So we partnered together to build this facility, and it's built. We finished it. We're going to grand open it in October. Hopefully, y'all are there as well as we grand open this facility. The process is that where people can help us the most is that we continue to show up in our neighborhoods, truly caring and not trying to save the neighborhood. There's a difference. Truly caring means you're consistently giving, coming back, speaking at the school, having financial donations to help something as trivial as getting headphones for students to take standardized tests. We just gave out over 200 new headphones to two Title I schools, one in Dade and one in Broward County, because they was getting ready to take a test and they did not have, right? And I know some people will say, well, that's a one-time impact. No, no, no. We're actually showing up to their school, often to make sure the teachers know we care. So next week we're feeding teachers, to show them that we care. And also we're taking technology tablets, that sort of thing, to the schools, and showing up for our college students as well in our community through boot camps, through technical interviews, that sort of thing. So the give back is the most important part. So if you say, well, how can I support Black men in tech? Let's get in touch. Let's figure out the way to give back to the community. Because again, the only way that we're going to close this mythical diversity pipeline issue is investing wholeheartedly in our students from K through 12 through collegiate, and then helping our community see the relatability of the tech space to their life. Because like you said, they're going to say, well, why would I want to do this? I make $40,000. I'm good. Da, da, da. But you can make 80, and Black Men in Tech, your podcast, Toya Crew, and a bunch of other individuals going to help you stay in tech.
Right.
Not just get there, but stay there. So that's how you can get in. That's how anyone can get involved. And just catch the vision and let's ride. Let's do it together.
Okay, so give all the socials. Where can people find you? Cool. How can they register for the conference and all that? And we'll put links, but we want to at least give them that rundown.
Yeah. So reach us on all social media platforms at BLK MENINTECH, Black Men in Tech, on all social media handles. Also, go to our website, www.blkmenintech.com, to see everything about Thrive. And if you hear this right now, I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but I will give the podcast a Thrive code, which is our discount codes, and I'll make sure y'all take at least 20% off the ticket. Because for me, it's not about the money, it's about your butts in the seat and y'all learning and hanging out with us and making it make sense. And I want everyone to make sure they tap in and lock in, because we're trying to do something amazing for the entire world. And it's going to take all of us. I just happen to be the person that's talking about it right now, but I promise you all 4,000 of us can probably share at least a story about how this thing has impacted us. So join the movement. Lock in. I'm gonna share a discount code so y'all can share with y'all community tonight. I don't know whatever night this is, but that's tonight, so y'all can share it out. And yeah, man, let's do this together. It's gonna take all of us, so why not start now?
Yes, we'll put it in the notes of all our platforms that we'll put this episode on, and y'all get 20% off. Okay. Now get out here. Now don't be acting like y'all talking about y'all want to find y'all man to make this amount of money and all that kind of stuff. Well, you better get to the Black Men in Tech conference, okay, and see what's going on.
And listen, if you do connect though, y'all gotta invite me to all the events that y'all got, because I got a story to tell, like how y'all met at Thrive.
Exactly. We're gonna need a video tutorial, a video testimonial, so that we can put that on the website as well as another incentive, So, well, anyway, Kham, I feel like we when you meet people and you make a connection, it's just kind of one of those things. I feel like it's just there. So I'm like, we're going to have a good old time. I cannot wait for us to come out to y'all part of town and hang out and see what we're gonna be into. I said I'm gonna have to really get my rest the week before.
I took off. I'm taking
like
off work.
3 days.
I'm not working at all because I want to be all hands on deck.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good time.
I want to be fully engaged. You know, sometimes you go to conferences and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna still take this call." No.
Yeah, we want to be in.
We're all locking in. It's good. When I tell you that it's going to be absolutely amazing what we do together, and I say we because y'all gonna hit the stage. Y'all gonna hit the stage multiple times. Y'all just found that out. Because I'm gonna put y'all on different panels, you know.
Okay.
But the process is that having the opportunity to share with some industry leaders, with people, but all of them look like you.
Yeah.
You know, that's a different vibe, you know, and it's all for the love and for the culture, you know, and you know when you get in the room with good energy, what good energy bring for you. So I'm excited. We're gonna
excited too. Well, we thank you so much for being a part of the Bold Black Girls podcast.
Yes. We love to have Black men on the podcast.
And it probably won't be the last time. I'm sure we're going to bring you back for some more stuff because there's just so much we can talk about. And we might have to just do like a debrief after the conference and talk about everything that went down so that the other people who don't come can be jealous.
Yeah.
That is true. FOMO.
Right. All right, Kham. Well, we will see you in a couple of weeks and we'll make sure that we give the audience this wonderful discount code so they can come hang out with us. Thank you for being here.
All right. Y'all, thank you for the opportunity, man. Never take it lightly that I speak in front of people, especially things that I'm passionate in my purpose in life. So thank you for believing enough in me to bring me on to kind of chat with you. I love it. Thank you so much.
We love it too. Thanks, Kham.